Memorandum to the Department of International Relations and Cooperation, ECO, on the 30th of June 2023. Cut diplomatic relations with Eswatini and take decisive action against the King and his government for violating the sovereignty of South Africa. The preamble is again. We, the United Eswatini Diaspora, UED, members of the Mass Democratic Movement in Eswatini, our fraternal friends in South Africa, acting on behalf of the struggling masses of our people in Swaziland, hereby submit this memorandum to the government of South Africa through the Department of International Relations and Cooperation. Issues giving rise to the memorandum. The Swaziland King and his government have consistently violated the sovereignty of the Republic of South Africa by sending its security forces to kidnap, torture, and smuggle into Swaziland pro-democracy political activists. On the 30th May 2023, Swazi armed police illegally came into South Africa, armed, kidnapped, tortured, and smuggled into Swaziland two pro-democracy activists. These are Mr. Tabogunene and Sibusiso Nkomonye. They were smuggled into Swaziland through an informal crossing near the Oshik border gate. These Swazi police officers worked with a criminal known as Andile Nkomonye, who sometimes go by the name of Dr. Mkulu. The kidnapping happened in or around the town of Rustenburg in the Northwest province in South Africa. There is overwhelming evidence of the commissioning of this cross-border criminal act. These include videos and audios of the kidnapping and torture of the two Swazi political activists. The two political activists are now languishing in Swaziland jail, where they are charged with various charges, including those of high treason. If convicted, they face the death penalty, which is abolished in SA. There are South African citizens who have been hired by King Mswati and his government to assassinate prominent pro-democracy activists inside Swaziland. They also kill ordinary Swazi citizens who are critical of the King's autocratic rule. The latest high-profile activist killed was human rights lawyer Mr. Tulani Radolf Masego. Mr. Masego was killed while watching TV in the presence of his wife and children in his home. This happened on the 21st of January 2023. The SA Anti-Mercenary Act prohibits its citizens from carrying out mercenary activities in foreign countries. We therefore humbly calls for the South African government to take the following decisive action. Cut diplomatic relations with Eswatini with immediate effect. Investigate the circumstances of kidnapping, torture, and smuggling into Swaziland of the pro-democracy activists. Commence a process of forcing Swaziland to surrender to SA the two kidnapped political activists. If they have cases to answer, that must happen in SA. Institute a process for the extradition of the Swaziland police officers involved in this cross-border criminal act so as to face the laws of South Africa. Arrest and prosecute Mr. Andile Nkomonye for helping a foreign power to commit crime in South African soil. Hold King Mswati III as commander of the armed forces in Swaziland criminally and politically liable for the act. Impose different sanctions against King Mswati III, his family, and his high-ranking government officials like the Commissioner of Police, William Dlamini, Army Commander Mashigilisani Fagotse, and the Deputy Prime Minister, Mr. Themba Masuku. Investigate, arrest, and prosecute the South African citizens who are alleged to be involved in mercenaries acts in Swaziland. Consider the retention of the South African Customs Union receipts until democracy is introduced. Consider closing the borders with Swaziland in order to pressurize the country to democratize. Use the SA's influence in the region to call for SADC's collective action against Swaziland. This should include military intervention. Take any action that the SA government may deem fit against the King, his government, and his armed forces in order to bring the rule of law in Swaziland. Put pressure on the Swaziland government to immediately release the pro-democracy MPs, Honorable Bakete Mabuza and Honorable Mtandeni Dube. We further call for the following. an all-inclusive national dialogue that will usher in a new democratic dispensation in Swaziland, unconditional release of all political prisoners, unconditional return of all political exiles, unbanning of all political parties, restoration of an impartial and uncaptured judicial system. Sebaya sayinake labashoko lapha kuthi ngibo labayemukele labafaka ekhathi wena maka siyabonga. Mandla